Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Duggars and Diggers, Monster Hunters and Monster Honeys, it is your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, back with some more Monster Hunter World gameplay, and we're looking at the Rathian today, or the Rathian, if you will. That was kind of a long intro, yeah? I probably won't do them for a while, but anyway, regardless, here we go. So we're looking at the Rathian, and before we really get started, I would like for you guys to do me a favor. I would like to take your guns, your pistols, if you will, or whatever you have, put them on the table, push them forwards towards me, because I'm about to pull them triggers. I'm going to call the Rathian a male, or a man, or he, or whatever. So for people who actually get, like, about that, prepare. Spoiler alert, I'm calling it a he. So today we're gonna fight him, and the one thing you should really know about him is that the fact that he is a monster who came back from like 1 billion years ago. Really and honestly, one of the few monsters who's still available to fight in this game from the original generation of Monster Hunter. So with that being said, for a lot of people who've actually been playing Monster Hunter for years, like myself, we kind of know the ins and outs of this guy, because it's nothing new. I mean, you can change it up a little bit, but it's at the end of the day, it's still a Rathian, and that's how I was able to actually fight him originally in the Barrett quest. You remember the story quest? We had to push the cart, and then the Barrett was there, then the Rathian showed up. I killed the Rathian there. I was like, shoo, catch these weapons, boy, and I gave him the juice. So, but yeah, that's enough of me gloating. Let's talk about the Rathian. So, off the rip, as you can tell right off the gun, it is a flying wyvern, one of your first real wyverns that you actually fight. Breathes fire, has a poison tail flip that you will see it do right there. That tail flip, if you get hit with the tail, will cause you to be consumed with the poison. Now, it is a very, very strong attack. A lot of times it likes to do the attack as a finisher, like it'll sauce you with a couple little attacks and then boom, hit you with a tail flip. 9 times out of 10, most people don't make it through the combination. So really watch out for the tail flip. Now, one thing I will note that they did change up in this game. Thank God. One thing I should do. Don't 100% me on this shit, guys. Don't 100% me on this, because I need to do like a test bed and have like a control and everything, make sure it's 100% flat. But I believe if you cut the tail, somebody in the comments, let me know if you cut the tail, if it hits you with the tail flip, no more poison, which is something that I've been praying for like 1 billion years, because it kind of makes sense, because the poison barbs are in the actual tail itself, the head of the tail, the tip of the tail, I should say. And once you cut that off, bam, no poison. So I believe that's the case. I'm not 4 billion on that, so somebody quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If I'm right, heck yeah. Anyway, so moving over, really watch out for its fire breath as well. It can shoot fireballs in a multitude of ways. It'll shoot a standard fireball straight in a straight direction, I guess you could say. It shoots a volley of fireballs, 1, 2, and 3 in a fan motion, like 1 to like the left, 1 to the right, 1 to the center, that kind of thing. It also has an attack, a charging attack, that's always been in the game for like 1 billion and thousands of years, but they changed it a little bit, so it's kind of hard to see right off the rip. But it almost always does this attack 3 times. If it doesn't do it 3 times, you must look for the ender of this attack. What it will do is it will run at you in one direction, turn around, run at you in the direction you just came from, turn around again, and run at you in one more direction. At the very end of that third run, it'll do like an animation, like a biting animation, or it'll make a sound effect or something like that. It'll animate differently. The animation used to be, it would like make a noise and kind of look like it's doing a biting attack or whatever. They changed it slightly in this one. Now, it will only do that when it's done running. So it can run once and then do that, and then it's done running. But if you don't see it do that, prepare for him to come back at you another time, or maybe another 2 times. That way you have to really understand the way the monster works. That way you can actually punish what it does. So, honestly, with that being said, the Rathian, not too much different from the guy. I mean, he's been the same thing since forever. There's really not too much to really say for him. He does hit kind of hard. Well, okay, fine, I give. She does hit kind of hard, and she can now actually pin you, which isn't something that a lot of monsters in this game can innately do, I think, anymore, but it's still a thing nonetheless. So, at the end of the day, she's actually a very serious fight, very solid monster. A lot of monster hunters, me myself included, like to think that once you get to the Rathian and you beat her, she's kind of like, not necessarily the gatekeeper, but she signifies the fact that you are a hunter now. Okay, because this is like the monster that the game is not necessarily completely based off of. That's her boyfriend, but for the most part, the Rathian and the Rathos are kind of the same thing. Once you get to either one of these guys and actually do well against them, you pretty much made it big, my man. So shout out to you there. So, but honestly, I know I'm just not really giving too many tips in this one because there's really not too much to say. I mean, I pretty much gave you the game plan that she actually likes to play with. She charges, she has the tail flip, you cut that tail, shazam, no more poison, and beware fireballs, because if you're wearing anything that's actually weak to fire, you're probably going to catch that nice cart with one fireball, which is actually what happened to me. The very first time I carted in this game was to this Rathian, not this particular Rathian, but the one in the story quest. When I was doing it real good and everything, hit me with one stray fireball, boom, took all my life away. So watch out for that, and just kind of, if you're gonna want to attack her, try and stick to her thigh area, so that way you can see when she starts to rotate. I mean, for the most part, a lot of the attacks won't necessarily come from the hip, but if the monster's going to move, you're going to see it move from the legs first. So if you attack the legs, you can actually visually see if it's going to actually move to the left, to the right, or move forward, or turn around, do a different attack, etc. like that. And also, it kind of keeps you in the way to where you can kind of see the neck and the head of the monster. That way you can see if it's actually going to crane its neck around to hit you with something kind of fierce or whatever. So honestly, that's pretty much the tips I have for you when it comes to fighting the Rathian. I mean, again, she's not super hard, but she's kind of difficult, but her gear is totally worth it. Speaking of her gear, before we actually really talk about it, the one thing I will note though is if you actually decide to make her armor, the one thing you should really look forward into, or really should understand, is that she's one of the, not necessarily the fewer monsters, but she's like one of the first monsters where if you do decide to make her gear, you have to actually come off of something very rare, a plate. Now Adjanoth was the same way. If you want to make the Adjanoth armor, or the Andrew, I forget, you needed a plate for his armor as well. But I just really want to get that off my chest, because a lot of people, they I actually had a couple guys ask me, yo Dak, I fought the Wraith a couple times, can't make the armor, what's going on, what's the plate? I'm like, well, the plate is just something that you get on very rare occasions in the quest rewards, or by cutting the tail. These things are still true, so in case you guys are wondering if anything has changed from that, negatory Ghost Rider, that's all, it's still the same there. But anyway, so back to the gear. Well, let's actually get to the gear. So the gear is pretty much, it's legacy, honestly. The first thing I knew was legacy right through when I saw a health boost, because Rathian armor almost always increases your health, so that's cool. Increase your health by 15 points. Remember that your standard health is 100, and then when you eat, you can get to whatever, but your maximum health is actually 150. So 1.5. At work, instead of saying 15 or 20 or anything over 10, we say 1 and 0, or like 1 and 5. Sorry, that's a habit. I do this all the time, so it's in my brain now. Anyway, so plus 15 points to health, so that means you can eat for practically anything. Add that 15 on there, and boom, you're probably almost already at full health. So that's a huge boon there. Your next one is going to be botanist. Now this was a really interesting skill. One extra consumable herb from when you gather. So if you're like me, who likes to just kind of gather things on the fly when I'm picking stuff up, because I mean, because the gathering's so quick now and the combinations are automatic, I don't really have to go to the store too often. This is actually really cool, because then you could pick up that extra herb, so you pick up 3 as opposed to 2, and then you'll make twice as, not twice, but I think 50% more potions if need be. So that's a really interesting skill. Poison attack. Now Rathian weapons, for the most part, tend to dip into that poison. No pun intended. Is that a pun? Dip, poison? I don't know. Anyway, poison attack. Increase your poison build up by 5%, and then the bonus 10 points for your poison weapon. So if you guys don't know what the build up is, every monster has a threshold, but if you have poison attack, it increases that threshold by X amount %, so that way you can actually poison the monster a bit more effectively, because once it reaches a certain threshold, it takes a very long time for that poison to actually take effect. This increases the threshold, so that way it will take not as much, but still kind of a lot. Poison resistance reduces the duration of poison by 30%. So if you actually get poisoned by the Rathian or any other monster that has poison, you get hit with it. If you walk off for a while, 30% of the actual poison time will actually be depleted from you, so that way you don't die immediately. I think for the poison to run through the course of your body, it's going to take, like, I think, don't quote me on this, 90 seconds. I think it's actually 60 seconds. I think they toned that back, but it reduced about 30%, so that's not actually that bad. Lastly, we're looking at recovery. I mean, this is actually a really cool skill. This increases the recovery on your items. So let's say you take a potion, it restores 10% more health. Now, this is actually a really good skill to have once you get later down the line, when you can take like 1 mega potion and fill up your entire health bar. So that's actually really cool, and very useful nonetheless. And also, like I said, his weapons are poison based. They are normally very good, and they are very good. Now, if you guys have been playing the game much like I've been playing the game, you've been seeing with your eyeballs that Charge Blade is the Mag Daddy of all Mag Daddies. Rathian has a very nice Charge Blade, so if you really like Charge Blade Rathian's charge blade is very crisp. And I feel like Gunlance, like myself, Rathian's Gunlance is also very crisp, and I love it to death. And you'll see me use it in literally the very next video because it's the weapon I'm going to be using when I fight the next monster. Now, one thing I will say about the Rathian, for the videos anyway, because the Rathian is an old generation monster, been done billions of times over, I'm not going to make its armor. I'm not going to make the armor of the Rathian, the Rathlos, or the Diablos. Shout out to my dog Nova in the background shaking it up like trees in the wind, not the wilderness, but that too. But I'm not going to make the armor. Sorry, skipping it. Only going to make new armors in the game. But that's that on its armor and its skill. So for the most part, you guys should really honestly know what the Rathian's about. It's an old legacy monster. They didn't really change up too much. It's a nice fight nonetheless. It definitely makes you feel comfortable as a hunter once you actually get in there. You actually start fighting quite well. Now, one thing I will say is she's a little relentless. So if you're becoming a bit, you know, not consumed, but if you're overwhelmed is the word I'm looking for. If you're becoming overwhelmed with the fight and everything, feel free to pop that SOS flare, so that way people can come and help you out. Cause I mean, she's not, like I said, she's not too tough, but sometimes she can be, you know. Every now and then a monster who normally isn't tough can actually put on, or can get quite lucky, much how you can get lucky and actually kill a monster very easily. A monster can get lucky and kill you very easily. That thing tends to kind of happen to Rathian because, I mean, she is technically strong. Okay, she's definitely a stronger monster, so you don't necessarily want to play her cheap. Like, just because she's kind of easy doesn't mean that she can't kill you. So watch out for all of her attacks. I mean, don't give her no quarter. Understand the way in which she does attack, and you should be relatively okay. Lastly, before I forget, because somebody mentioned it to me, very kind of halfway kind of rudish. I mean, it's the internet. People are you can be rude if you like, but I don't know. I'm not a very rude kind of person. I don't like people rude to me, but nonetheless, it's still good. It's still good that he brought it up though, because I should probably do this. The locations of these monsters. Now, if you guys notice that in my videos, when I'm having the worst amount of trouble fighting the monster, I always put the little card, what to say, for the preservation of time, skipping straight to the fight. What I would do is, if I am going to do that, I will verbally tell you the location in which the monster is actually located. In this case, I didn't have to do that because I knew exactly where it was. The area this monster actually spawns in is area 2. If you spawn at the base camp at area 1, you take a left and you hold that hard left and you go straight. Okay, so I will do that for you guys. That way, you guys know exactly where it is when you play for yourself, so that way you're not lost completely. Now, granted, will I be able to find this right off the rip? Probably not. I'll have to do a little bit of research myself, but then again, that's okay, because I will do this for you, the people, because you guys deserve everything, and I deserve to give you guys as much I can give you in terms of information and whatnots. But anyways, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Let me know if you liked the video. I probably rambled on a little bit in this one. I apologize, but it's been your boy. Take care. See you on the next one. It's the weekend. I'm making tons of videos. Take care.